Thank you, sir. Senator Markey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. Mr. Tillerson, during your tenure as CEO of ExxonMobil, the company massively expanded its involvement in Russia, going from virtually no holdings in that country to holding the drilling rights to 63 million acres. That is an area inside of Russia that is the size of Wyoming and almost 5 times the amount of holdings Exxon has here in the United States. As CEO of Exxon, you vocally opposed the Russian sanctions that have been put in place, which hamper Exxon's ability to drill there. Now, in recent weeks, we have learned about the incredibly disturbing extent to which Russia has sought to weaken our nation, from its efforts to undermine the election to yesterday's news that it has compromising personal and financial information about the President-elect. Now, I am sure that I am not alone in saying that I believe that these allegations, if true, demand more and stronger sanctions against Russia. Now, just this morning, Donald Trump said that he thinks that the Russians did hack our American election. So, Mr. Tillerson, in light of what you now know about the extent of Russia's hostile acts against our country, do you support increasing sanctions against Russia, even if doing so hurts ExxonMobil?
Well, Senator, if confirmed in consultation with the President, and I'm sure what will be an interagency decision around imposing additional sanctions on Russia, there will be no space between me and the President of the administration in those decisions. I serve, if confirmed, I serve only the interest of the American people.
Well, again, the question that the American people are going to have is that you have spent 41 years at ExxonMobil, and ExxonMobil controls, for leasing purposes, drilling purposes, oil purposes, an area the size of Wyoming inside of Russia. And you've spent your entire adult life working there. So there's a question that people have in their minds about your ability to be able to separate. You know, if the head of the Sierra Club was named tomorrow to be the new CEO of ExxonMobil, some of the shareholders at ExxonMobil might wonder whether or not the head of Sierra Club could put aside their whole past history in order to be able to advance that shareholder interest. Well, the shareholders of the United States, the people who are watching this hearing, are wondering the same thing about this issue with regard to your past history, and not just the vast interest which ExxonMobil has in Russia, but in dozens of other countries across the world. Now, earlier you said that you would recuse yourself from issues involving ExxonMobil as required by statute. But that statute, that statutory recusal period, is only for 1 year. You could be Secretary of State for 4 years or for 8 years. You, in my opinion, are going to have many, many issues after that 1 year period is up that relates to the economic interest of ExxonMobil. So I ask you, sir, if you would be willing to recuse yourself for the duration of your time as Secretary of State from any manner dealing with ExxonMobil's economic interests, so that the American people are sure that the only interest that you are serving is the interest of the American people.
Senator, as I indicated earlier, I will honor, obviously, the statutory recusal period, and then after that, any matter that might involve ExxonMobil or has the appearance that it could lead to some type of conflict, I will seek the guidance of the Ethics Council review by them, and if it is the view that it would be proper for me to recuse, I'll honor that.
Well, again, 1 year is a very brief period of time, given the vast economic interests of ExxonMobil in Nigeria, in Iraq, in Russia, in country after country around the world. I think, Mr. Tillerson, it would be far better for you just to say that for the duration of your time as Secretary, that you will not allow for your own personal involvement to be a part of any decision about anything that affects ExxonMobil anywhere in the world. I think the American people would feel much more comforted if you would, in fact, make that commitment to them. Now, during your tenure as CEO, Exxon has supported public policy groups who have spread climate denial. Senator Kaine dealt with that issue, and also opposed clean energy, including, for example, financial support in 2015 for the American Legislative Exchange Council and the Manhattan Institute, two groups which are climate deniers. In 2016, when the Attorney General of Massachusetts asked Exxon for information on the company's climate activities under Massachusetts consumer and financial protection laws, Exxon sued the state of Massachusetts, the Attorney General of Massachusetts, and other public policy groups that have been critical of Exxon. So we have evidence in the past of Exxon, during the time you have been there, supporting groups opposing climate action and also trying to silence groups that have been critical of Exxon. So give the American people, given your personal history at ExxonMobil and the actions of that company, some reason to have confidence that the climate agreement negotiated by Secretary Kerry and President Obama will be something that the Trump administration State Department will honor, and that U.S. leadership will continue on the issue of climate change around the planet. We are not just any country. We cannot be a laggard. We must be the leader. The world expects us to be the leader on climate change. Please give us those assurances that you will guarantee that the State Department will be the leader, as it has been, in advancing a climate agenda for our country.
Well, if confirmed, Senator, I'm sure that there will be opportunity, and I know the President-elect will want the opportunity to do a fulsome review of our policies around engagement on climate issues through global accords, global agreements. And as I indicated, I feel free to express my views to him around those. I also know that the President, as part of his priority in campaigning, was America first. And so there is important considerations as we commit to such accords, and as those accords are executed over time, are there any elements of that put America at a disadvantage?
Do you believe that it should be a priority of the United States to work with other countries in the world to find climate change solutions to that problem?
I think it's important for America to remain engaged in those discussions so that we are at the table expressing a view and understanding what the impacts may be on the American people and American competitiveness.
Do you commit to ensure that no employee of the State Department is influenced to take action because it would be favorable to business interests associated with the President-elect or his family?
If I understood the question, yes.
All right. The President-elect said famously in a tweet, wouldn't you rather have, in a certain sense, have Japan with nuclear weapons when North Korea has nuclear weapons? And the President-elect has also said that he would be open to South Korea and Saudi Arabia acquiring nuclear weapons. Senator Nunn, who introduced you, has previously described these comments as dangerously off base and stated that Mr. Trump's suggestion would make American families less safe. Do you disagree with the President-elect that it wouldn't be a bad thing for us if Japan and South Korea and Saudi Arabia acquired nuclear weapons?
I think
Succinctly, if you will.
I think the priority has to be to deny North Korea the ability to deploy its nuclear weapons.
What about Saudi Arabia and South Korea?
That